Greetings, foolish mortals. Welcome back to another episode of Occultists Anonymous. We are, as always, sponsored by Roll20, and all of our geists and ghouls out there in the spooky beyond. I don't know.
Pick it up as you go.
Exactly. Special thanks out to Adele, Al, Alexander, Alsrit, Bernie, Buck, Cha Cha Real Smooth,
Ooh, yeah.
Chandra, Chris is my Geist, Doc, Emil, Kunzusurali, George, insert Goosebumps theme, James, John, Josh, Camo, Cat Feather, Klaus, Crazy Man, Let the Monsters Mash, Long Live the Queen, Melissa, Michael, Milo, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Mozart D minor, Noba, Arathic, sorry, first time. Welcome. Other guy, Paradox means you've done something right. Perry, Foog, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Sean, Shaksara, Taryn, Thomas, Toast, Vortex Falcon. Why gender when you can serve the Iron Pyramid? Zoltan and Aphonalis. We here at Occultists Anonymous do not recommend serving the Iron Pyramid.
Or gendering things.
I mean, gender things the way they want to be gendered. If by things you mean people.
No, I meant things.
Yeah.
Preferably, don't do either.
Yeah.
Stupid Spanish, French, and who else this?
Yeah.
Dutch?
Most languages.
Most languages.
Hey, English gets one!
I know it's been a while, but we return to October of 1916 on the front lines of the war, the Great War in Belgium. And when last we left off, we had just a phenomenal amount of bullshit going on all at once. There is a resurrected forest god ? Rampaging about a titan of ritual sacrificed blood and stone and muck and trees, sort of crawling its way out of the earth, and it had been waylaid partially by our crew, and using her boneyard, Adelaide had spotted a ghost in the form of a Napoleonic soldier riding a large wolf as a mount, a ghost wolf. I would like to clarify, Chris would like to clarify, that they did not read the section on bar guests. So, not a bar guest. Just for audience and player knowledge. Bar guests.
I'm assuming those have special rules.
Yeah, they're essentially ghosts of animals, and they don't usually stick around very long. Essentially, if an animal has caused a breaking point, then it can leave a ghost.
It's death
If
causes a
it
breaking
was
point.
scary enough.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
If
Okay.
it dying caused a breaking point. So if it was beloved enough.
Is that it? Oh, I thought it was the other way
sad.
around.
Yeah, if its death caused a breaking point.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
Otherwise,
I can't
it'd
even
be a
misread
lot
when I'm not even doing it, so it's fine.
Otherwise,
Anyways,
there'd be a lot of insect ghosts. People getting surprised by cockroaches.
yeah, fair. It's when they fly. It should not be.
It's a good time. Most of them
No,
fly.
it's a bad time.
I mean, come
Having
on.
worked in restaurants, it's a bad time.
I mean, you got to find the fun ones.
Um,
You got it.
Shark Boss says, I have hiccups. Can you try and scare me? Taxes.
Well,
Those are due next week.
Loans.
we can try and induce you to control your diaphragm so that hiccups go away.
Speaking of
Those are
diaphragms,
you.
at the same time as all this had been going on, and the Napoleonic ghost and the titan of the forest seem to be about to square off while the crew is involved. One of them is not there, right? Because Dorothy, in her trying to figure out what was going on with the priestess of the Withered Grove, well, Craig made a bargain with me. A lot Blaze in the Dark sort of devil's bargain. And I told him that if Dorothy put on the mask that the priestess had left behind, that she could ask 2 questions of the common sense merit, as well as guaranteeing she would find out more of what was going on. And so, without a second thought, Dorothy puts on this mask and is promptly whisked away, separated from her Geist, and whisked away to a rather alien version of the landscape that she had been standing in, with a bounty of creatures and beings that she has never seen before, and seeing a sort of reflected version of the tunnel that the Titan had crawled out of, she leaped down into the dark. So let's start with that.
Because I need that resolved. It's been bothering me for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. And I've been like, there are so many things I could do here, but
she's now sliding.
Did I plan on anyone doing this? Yes. No.
That just means you've had time to think of what happens.
Yeah. Yes. So Dorothy, in more or less not a true pitch black, but in that barely enough light that your brain starts playing tricks with the shadows. You are sliding down this tunnel on perfectly smooth rock. And you are sliding for a while. You're not really sure how long it is. You kind of lose track of time. And
is there any changes? Am I swirling on a half pipe or something, or
no?
I'm just sliding.
It is a consistent angle and speed. You don't feel yourself accelerating or slowing down. It is just rather bizarre. At some point, you probably feel, what's the word? To Craig, I will say it feels like a sensory deprivation tank sort of thing. And there's just enough light that you think you're seeing flashes of things or a shadow move here or there as you kind of whisk by it. And as you get finally, you kind of slide to a stop as that angle flattens out into a little bit of a curve. And there is a big stone chamber lit in this very pale green light that doesn't seem to be coming from anywhere, really. There's not a direction to the light. There's no shadows. It's just sort of there.
Trying to just get up and uselessly dust herself off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So she's just really just moving the dirt around.
Right.
This is not what she was hoping for. Is there am I just end up in a cube, or is there?
It is a big, you're level ground, but a sphere all around you, right?
Okay.
Like a dome, I guess is probably the word that people would use to describe that shape. If your brain works in a correct way. It's been a long week, folks.
Any other exits or anything, or is this a dead end?
No, there does not appear to be. There is a pedestal in the middle of the chamber, rising up like 10 feet, almost like a 10-foot cube. Although it's not it's a little bit longer on one length of it, right? So call it like 10 feet long by 6 feet wide, and then 10 feet tall. Yeah, it's big hunk of stone.
Anything else? Like, can I see any signs there's something on it or anything, or is it just like a pillar in the middle of the room?
There are near the top a series of 4 indentations. That's sort of it's kind of hard to see it like at this much of an angle, but they appear to be like elliptical shaped like grooves into the stone. And if you like try and scooch up and tippy toes and look closer, it looks like fingers have sort of gripped over the top of this.
Like it's made for fingers to grip, or fingers crushed it and made indentations?
Yes.
So Dorothy's gonna look around and just say, "It's another fine mesh you got yourself into, Dottie."
Big fingers, by the way.
Yeah, I figured that part. What was the exit? But this chamber at the bottom of the tunnel must be important somehow, right? So hike up skirt and see if I can get up onto the base of the pillar.
Sure.
It was like I'm imagining it's on like a platform, or there's a wider part of the base or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's kind of like a couple steps up to it.
Are any handholds or anything?
Not really.
Centurion is not around.
Correct.
So I can't really use any of my stuff, can I?
I would say you could try.
I'll give it a shot. With Shroud, I can potentially fly if I succeed.
What are your keys?
Well, he's not here, so I guess it's just mine, right?
What would they be?
Yeah, I'll look it up. It's been a little while. I'm getting back into the swing of things.
For sure.
It was the Tears one was mine. Yeah, Dottie's is the Tear Stain key.
That's the Deep Waters, yeah.
Yep. And the Centurion's is Key of the Cold Wind.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that the key of Deep Waters is resonant here.
Okay.
For reasons that we may discover. So yeah, why don't you roll it and I'll tell you what happens.
Shroud and Synergy, and I'm trying to remember just with the key unlock. What am I rolling?
Key of Deep Waters is manipulation.
And manipulation. Oh, yeah, I'm good at that.
Generally why you have that key, yep.
Yes.
Guess I should have rolled.
Do I have willpower? And 1.
Really gather today.
Hey.
That's the 7 dice, 2 successes. Perfect. Yeah, you reach out kind of instinctively to activate this power that you know that you and Lost Centurion can do together. And in this environment with this mask on, something else fills that role.
Oh, cool, but also
yeah. And it definitely does not feel. It doesn't feel wrong, but you feel like the strain of connection to your Geist, and something else like wiggling, like almost wiggling in. You're right, just kind of slotting itself in.
Don't like that.
Yeah.
Maybe keeping the mask on is not such a great idea.
But it activates just fine, and you can do whatever sort of powers you had wanted to do.
Okay, so shrouded in plasm, Dottie's just going to float up and have a look at the...
I will say you are not shrouded in plasm.
Okay.
It does not smell or feel the same.
Okay.
But there is now a... Did Dorothy see the Titan at all? No, okay, because she was a little farther away. Yeah, so you wouldn't have seen this, but there is a rather thick, not quite like viscera, but like it sort of, it feels like blood, like metaphysically. And it is, you're kind of shrouded and covered in it a little bit, and instead of that like really awful ectoplasmic sort of stench that plasm has, you get a little bit of that coppery tang of blood.
That's gonna be painful later, I'm anticipating. I'll still float up and have a look at the top of the column.
There is,
assuming I can still float with this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Anything that your power could do, it is.
And just am I like covered in blood now? Like,
it's not blood.
Okay, it just feels like it.
But it feels
a metaphysical
like blood,
sort of.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. It reminds you of blood, but it's not.
So sort of like a blood aspected plasm, maybe, to give my mind something to hang on to.
I mean, out of character, I will tell you.
Sure.
We know you are in the shadow. And this is essence.
Okay. Oh, okay. Craig now understands.
Yep.
So I'll float up and have a look.
Yeah, the top of the pillar, and this is sort of a just... I'm not very good at saying what stones are or why they would be in certain places and things, but a just very... What's like a good bedrock stone, Ash?
Granite?
Nothing. Yeah, granite's good. We'll go with granite.
Granite works.
Granite works. And it's there's not a lot going on the top of it except for just sort of a like oblong depression, like a casket or a bassinet.
Empty now.
It's empty, yes. And from seeing that, you can see where, like, very clearly it looks like something kind of pushed up, like sat up out of this.
Okay, so the hole wasn't where it got into our world. This was where it came from. It's brood chamber, for lack of a better descriptor. Okay. Now that she can fly, I guess she will fly out. Back up the hole, because there's nothing else here. Just quick glance around.
Nothing obviously going on now.
Okay.
I will say some of the shroud, as you're like floating over top of this, kind of drips off and starts collecting into the depression.
Oh. And what happens as it collects there?
It is
like interested. She's gonna hover and have a look and see how it behaves.
Cool. Let's see. I would say it starts collecting. It's stripping off of like different parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all sort of pooling together, not in a gravitationally fed sort of way, but in a animated goo sort of. Something trying to collect itself, almost.
I don't have a lot left, but I wonder if I feed plasm into this. Well, no, because it didn't leave from here. It didn't enter our world from here. It tunneled its way up and then somehow got into our world, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't leave that massive tunnel there. Oh, what are
these? Are all valid things you could think, yes. As you're sort of pondering and floating there, and a few more drips start going, in almost a reflection, a weird like viscous liquid reflection of your mask. You see a sort of cervid shaped face, like widespread eyes and a sort of snout hanging off the bottom of this blob. And
it's not me, it's a different face in the reflection.
It is a reflection of the mask.
Okay.
And it starts making noise.
The reflection or the mask?
The reflection, the pool, the bubble.
Okay. And what is it? Can I understand what it's saying, or is it just noise?
You cannot understand what it is saying.
Okay.
But it does seem to be speaking.
I don't have anything for that. I'm tempted to, I'm torn between going back out and just feeding this some plasma and see what happens. I gotta save one, so can I feed another plasm into this thing?
Sure.
I'm probably gonna regret that, but we'll see what happens.
I don't know how you would normally go to like gift plasm. But this, as you begin trying to channel it, it comes out of your mouth and sort of drips out through the mask.
And the same sort of blood feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of leaking through the shroud changes it. And you feel a connection form to this thing.
Okay. Does it alter my ability to understand at all now?
It does. It does seem to be speaking English now.
Okay.
All right.
Now, what is it saying?
It just says, "You're going to have to feed me a lot more than that."
Some questions, just so we can start things off in a friendly way. Who are you? Or what are you?
I'm a. What do you mean? What am I? You made me.
Okay. Can you get me
Does a
out
mother
of?
not name their child?
Okay, this is pulling on some strings for Dorothy.
Yep.
I can certainly give you a name. I'm not from here. I think it's pretty obvious.
You do.
Dorothy says that.
Very strangely.
Sorry, say that one more time.
You speak very strangely.
Yes. And that two-way street, but that's neither here nor there. We can understand each other now. Do you have a name in mind, or would you like me to give you one?
I think it repeats itself.
Okay. Can you get me out of this place and back to where I'm from?
It like wiggles around the depression, like building up some speed, and then like gets up on the edge. Okay. And just like flops off, splats on the ground, and just starts rolling towards the tunnel.
Do you need more to do it, or are you good like that?
I mean, it might be slow.
I can give it another plasm.
Okay.
After that, I think I have to start using me. So what are we going to call you? Go basic and just say Blood Deer.
Blood Deer.
How does that feel for you?
Blood Deer. Bloodier.
Hang on.
Sure.
I was just say, I think I have a copyright. It that bleeds. Hang on. Like, we've got a...
Yeah. It will do.
Hey, Blood Deer. Let's get out of here.
Very
Would it help if I were to carry you? All right. With Shroud, can I actually interact with objects and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll pick it up and fly where it tells me.
You are flying up the tunnel, and we will come back to you.
Okay.
So I think when we left off, you're just making sort of horrific death plasm infused spirits in the gauntlet,
creating horrible little spirit babies.
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Come on.
That's cute, right?
So I think when we left off with the other 3 plus Lost Centurion, it is off the leash. And Cody is now
rapidly shrinking.
The tall, rapidly shrinking and becoming less horrifying.
Well, he's rapidly shrinking.
Yeah. Adelaide had just made her way over to try to give a warning about the Napoleonic ghost, who then sort of at the top of a ridge is there,
looking at us,
looking down. And Stefan had been wailing glass punches from ranged into the belly of the Titan, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Dope. When the ghost on the wolf sort of crosses that ridge, the Titan loses interest rapidly in the pests that have been bothering and hurting him, and just bellows in rage and indescribable words and sounds, but the emotion is very, very understandable. Of you do not belong, and my purpose is to stop you.
And at the same time, I did very much get the vibe that it will be bad if the Reaper kills this.
Yes.
It can consume it, possibly.
Possibly.
That's true, because we saw it use its gun to
as a vacuum.
Yeah, it vacuumed up all the ghosts, and this is not a ghost, but it is heavy death energy. Because my first thought was, kaiju fight, let them fight. I think that's wrong now.
We can definitely let them fight. We just team up with Godzilla here.
I mean, that's probably our best chance of beating the Reaper.
So, a lot of things are all going to happen very quickly here. But rather than a protracted roll initiative sort of fight, sort of a broader scope of this, very action-packed scene. What are each of you going to be trying to accomplish?
Well, for Cody is finding cover in a trench because he realized he has done fucked up, and is going to basically shadow it that bleeds, and because at this point that's all he really can do because it can't use haunts.
Right. You do have your ghost stuff.
Your ghost items.
It's true. And get some plasm back, but I still can't use the haunts themselves. So
you can use the items though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually very true. Hang on, physical equipment.
Seems fitting to shoot a ghost with a ghost gun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, trust me. I was like, hang on.
How about some ghost bear spray and use it on the mount?
Oh no. If I'm gonna do this, I might as well go much bigger.
All right.
Ghost bazooka.
Oh no.
No, they didn't have those in World War I, did they?
Yeah, not quite. What about Mr. Quincy Jones?
Separate Quincy Jones is trying to get Jagged Shards to wait for a good moment. Because Jagged Shards is, I would imagine, a little frustrated by the Titan ignoring him, even when he poured in even more damaging, aggravated damage from the shards. So I imagine what happens initially is everyone could observe a brief conversation between the two of them, where at first Stefford's like, hold on a moment, and Jagged Shards takes the posture as though Stefford is violating the agreement, right? The rage is out, right? No, you can't stop it now. And he just makes the point that you want to use it at the right time. So.
Nope. As far as mechanically how we'll do this is, if y'all all become set on working against the Reaper, then the more successes you get towards whatever actions you're doing, we'll add those all up, and I have an idea in my head of how this should go, and the more successes y'all get, the maybe more of a mitigating factor you will have accomplished, right?
Fantastic. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And for me, I don't really know. I'm low on plasm. Honestly, I'm probably trying to find Like, I don't want to let my ghost go because I will also lose my boneyard. So I'll basically go blind at this point because I'm used to having it upright.
Will you lose your boneyard?
Mm-mm.
Do you not lose your?
I lose call because I'm literally merged together and then separated.
Right. Okay, so could I let my guy go to fight while I start? I want to try to find Dorothy. Because I am aware that she's not here. I'm aware of where she was when she disappeared. So, yeah, I'll just sort of slap Louie on the back and she'll like go. Yeah. Fight your buddy.
He assures you that thing is not his friend, nor his brother in arm.
Yeah, so
cool.
what does that do to me for my stats? Do anything since I'm not like...
It lets you have the unleashed condition.
The Geist gets that.
The Geist gets gets the unleashed condition. It can share your plasm and your willpower. It treats your innate keys as influences. So at your rank. So Louis is a rank 3. Did you take Dreadgeist or no?
No.
Okay, then he's rank 3. So at a 3 dot, influences you can kind of consider them to be like a mage arcana, but more specific. So at 3, you can do any sort of like weaving or attack spells or something like that based around those influences.
Okay, so chance.
Fate.
A fate ghost, cool. So I'm going to turn him loose, and then I'm going to turn my attention on trying to scan the length and breadth of my boneyard, trying to find any traces of Dorothy.
Excellent. So we'll let you do 2 things there. Adelaide will just succeed at finding where Dorothy left. That's you know where that was. You have your boneyard. There is a circle on the ground of sort of wriggly little roots. Like something small that like fell off of her kit or whatever as she sort of disappeared very quickly. I think as you are standing there, you feel the presence of 2 things enter your boneyard. One of which you recognize to be Dorothy. And the other, you have no idea, but it's that something is very weird with it.
A living thing unlike anything I've experienced before.
Yeah, it is more living than dead, is how your boneyard would define it. And then past that, I think you just get this like mental sort of blue screen of death.
Static.
Trying to yeah, exactly, trying to process. You're like, nope, huh. And it is moving rapidly. These two things moving rapidly up through the hole that the Titan like crawled out of.
Okay. I'm going to go wait there to give her a quick rundown on what's going on.
Sure.
Get you up to speed.
Welcome back. What does Whistle and Louie do?
Don't know how Ghost attacks.
Power plus finesse.
Yeah, he's just going to acquire a rifle and just level it and shoot at the
manifest
guy.
one as part of his being. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has one as part of his being, almost certainly. Sure.
Yeah, I figure like he's not. When you just look at him, he's not carrying a rifle, but he
Right.
just sort of pulls one out of nothing.
Sort of. Yep.
Goes through the motion, and there's a gun in his hand now.
Mhm. Very cool. Yeah. You just roll power plus finesse.
The rank I have on the sheet for him is 1. Maybe I didn't rank that up like I should have.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they start at 3.
Okay.
You can add in his rank if you wish to, like, have it be a sort of wielding his influence. Put a little bit of that like fate spin on the on the bullet.
That's 2 more successes, so 6 successes.
Reroll
Sounds
that 10.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Nope.
But yeah, 6 successes shooting at the Reaper.
Very cool. Yeah, I think it like I think the bit of chance here is that it like plunges through the Reaper's leg and also hurts the wolf.
I feel like it probably sounds like a volley too, even though he's only shooting 1.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It whistles, right? How about It That Bleeds / Cody?
It That Bleeds has one mode, and it's just like Hulk smash.
Okay.
So it's been doing that, so I can add that in as a roll. Math 11. Oh wait, no, I just cashed it. 3 successes
Okay.
on 11. And Cody, and I'm just narrating, feel free to correct, dives into the nearest trench and then pops up with a Maxim machine gun. Because I'm pretty sure the normal availability for a gun like this would probably be a little bit higher, but hi, this is World War I, and these are
it takes some time, right? There's a lot happening in the fight, and there's a lot going on, and Cody disappears for a few minutes.
Oh no, out of Twilight with my grave goods.
Okay, you're not anywhere near a trench right now, though.
Oh, okay, that part
You have to get back to a trench.
That part
and then,
I'm good with.
Yeah. And then you pop back, and then it's kind of just this like, at a dramatically appropriate moment, Cody just sort of pops over the hill and just like bop 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 bop.
Yep. And notably, for all the normal people, they just see.
Yes.
Now my hair is doing things.
Yeah. Stephen Quincy Jones.
So, Stephen Quincy Jones and Jagged Shards, or Stephen Quincy Jones has encouraged Jagged Shards to wait for his moment. And what I imagine would happen is that Jagged Shards is boiling over with rage, waiting. And then instead of unleashing a torrent of bloody pieces of glass at the Titan, all of a sudden, Stafford feels that Jagged Shards is going to unleash the full manifestation of rage for the first time in his experience. So we're going to go for Rage 5 and cause an environmental tilt. So I want to ask you a question, considering the narrative circumstances. Because Stafford doesn't want to kill his friends, right? But I think what would happen is an earthquake, and the shards are flying up from the earth with the ostensible purpose of trying to impair the Reaper considerably, right? And it's going to cause a lot of damage. And he thinks the Titan is going to shrug that off. But the Reaper and the Wolf are probably going to be a bit impaired by this circumstance. Okay, cool. Great. So I'll spend the 4 plasm and cause an earthquake environmental tilt, which, it's probably going to be pretty bad for them. Because the severity, I think, is the amount of plasm I spent on it, which is up to my rage rating. Is that right? Or is it up to my synergy? Or what is determined by synergy?
That's just a per turn thing. You can spend longer to manifest it.
Oh, when it's activated? Okay, gotcha. I thought the limit was your per turn plasm limit. Okay, if it's the rage limit, then it's a severity 5 earthquake.
Look this up.
So the earthquake environmental tilt is page 293.
Yep.
Cool.
All dexterity-based dice pools and defense suffer -1 to -5. Trying to think of how to make this be like let you actively roll something situation.
Yeah, I'm okay with not rolling. It doesn't matter to me too.
Okay.
Yeah, just describing the actions and having you adjudicate them is always fine for me. I don't need to roll dice to feel satisfied. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna knock some successes off of my tracker in my head right now.
Sounds good to me. And I imagine that Stafford is also shocked.
Essentially, it's
So
is shocked.
He's shocked by this. This is not what he expected. He thought what was going to happen is that, because this is the first time in Stafford's experience this happened, Jagged Shards was going to unleash a torrent really precisely at the Reaper, and then all of a sudden Jagged Shards started fucking everything up.
Fair. It that bleeds is dodging through torrents of blades and things popping up out of the ground, and I think the Titan is inconvenienced but not like hurt by this at the point. And the two of them have been just wailing on each other, right? Like at some point the Reaper hops off the ghost, or hops off the wolf. The wolf is like tearing into the abdomen of the Titan, and the Reaper's jumping around and taking just like howitzer cannon shots with its rifle.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
Not that I think we have howitzers at that point, because that's a later World War II era thing. But this thing.
The idea, mortar.
It shoots a rifle, and like mortars are landing on this thing, right?
Yeah. Cool.
And all of this chaos is sort of happening, like we see sort of Adelaide like silhouetted with the violence all happening behind her as she's sitting there at the top of this tunnel, like awaiting Dorothy. And Dorothy, you at some point that smooth tunnel that you fell down through gives way to earth and mud and leftover Titan bits. As you get closer and closer to the light. And there is a figure standing at the top of the tunnel.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Waves to you.
And who's there?
Adelaide.
I mean,
okay.
It's hard to see for a while, but then you recognize, at the very least, you start recognizing parts of the uniform that you all wear and stuff like that.
So a shot on Dorothy full on looks like a ghost. As part of the shroud.
Yeah,
so she
full on looks like
says,
a bloody, horrifying ghost.
Yeah, there's sort of a bloody, dripping sort of aspect to it. But,
but I know you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the boneyard.
My boneyard would tell me if you were dead.
And she's got this.
It would, yeah. It tells you whether things living or dead show up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dorothy is sort of like carrying in one hand this like
The thing.
wiggly blob of something, blood, something.
And we'll talk about that later. But Dorothy just
It is a good thing you all have tolerance for biology.
Mhm.
Right. There's a reaper fighting the tree.
Right, the tree thing is dying. If we can just outlast it, it's going to die on its own anyway.
We
It's
needed
dying
to
fairly
kill a
quickly.
reaper first. Come on. We got your ghost. He's fighting.
Oh, okay. Things have changed while I was wherever I was.
Yeah, found the wolf that was scratching up the underworld. It's here.
Oh, that's not
And
good.
behind, or
And like we are walking as I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Adelaide's already taken off. And
You're
like, as
walking-
you're hearing
Dorothy
these
forward.
gunshots that are like echoing in 3 different like existences of the world, and like all sorts of shit is very wrong.
And Citrine's here somewhere?
Oh yeah, he's
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah. I was
not
gonna
casting,
have you.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He's way better at this kind of stuff than I am, but I'll do what I can. It's we're not doing the tree. We want to get rid of the other thing. Right. Okay. I'm organized now. I used to run Bertin club meetings. And off towards the kaiju battle.
What is Lost Centurion doing to contribute to the battle?
He's definitely a melee fighter. So I guess he just swinging sword and he's a shield.
More, I wasn't sure if more protecting the Titan or trying to kill the Reaper.
He's not really a protective sort of fellow.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is dancing around through this earthquake that's happening. And if you want to make an attack or use a influence or whatever you might want to do, contribute to the sort of ongoing task sort of thing.
I guess I'll try an attack, which is power and finesse.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think his key is risen or anything like that, right?
What is his key?
Key of the cold wind.
Yeah, maybe not. But I mean, you can use it as an influence, right?
Oh, can we?
When he's unleashed, yeah, you can use their keys. You can use your keys. The Geist can use your keys as influences equal to their rank.
Okay, so like
you can do a cold wind as an arcana is a good way to think about it.
So 4-dot arcana basically, right?
You have Dreadgeist?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, let's create an environmental tilt. And I know it's not the season for it, but maybe we can, if not a blizzard, then definitely a cold, shrieking wind moving into the battlefield.
I mean, one of the dooms of it is to gain the extreme cold tilt. So yeah, I perfectly see it fine as an influence. Make that roll for me.
And what do I do for that?
Yep. Influences is power.
Might be influence plus rank, actually.
I might be right. You did it last session, Drew.
So power, finesse, rank, or
That's what I just rolled when I was fighting, so.
Yeah, power finesse rank works for me for now.
okay.
Successes.
I'll take it.
Yeah, this on top of this earthquake happening with shards of like daggers of glass like pouring out of the earth. It is now It's fitting because like that's how Centurion, or that is relevant to how Centurion died. I don't know that we know that in character, right? But this just exuding of just the coldest mountain pass in winter, and you know, the wolf lands after having jumped and bitten at the Titan, and his feet just freeze in place, and the Reaper is slowed to the point that it seems that it's just barely moving. And this lasts for a while, and the Titan starts smashing into the Reaper as you all are still continuing to fight and everything like that. But so that was okay. The Reaper is damaged and bleeding essence out, or bleeding plasm out of its wounds, and the wolf has all but gone into a slumber, in the sense of a ghost destroyed. As the Titans sort of begins slowing down, also affected by this cold, as bits of the viscera and gunk start to sort of freeze solid in its movements and in its sort of on-traily bits following behind. I think camera-wise, I think Lost Centurion is there to like put the finishing blow on the Reaper. And so we see, a camera shot facing down onto the Reaper laying back. That like solid white porcelain mask version of a face just gets crunched through with Centurion's sword. And as this blow is falling, there is a piece in the Reaper's eyes, and it just simply says, "It doesn't matter. I've accomplished what I came for. All will be drafted to his glorious army." And a just massive amount of plasm and sort of connected ghost bits from where he had eaten and swallowed them. All the ghosts that were waiting come pouring out of him and explode past you all into the direction of where the shit. Help me out.
The hole in the ground.
Hole in the
Tiny
ground.
one.
What's it called? The
Hellmouth.
Avernian Gate.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay.
I got there. Hellmouth is also good.
Yeah.
Because I think when Adelaide had last seen it with Boneyard, it was like
It was bigger.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
about 5 feet wide.
Mhm.
And I think the camera pans sort of following this like stream of ghost gunk flying through the air. And the mouth just opens and just keeps opening. And I mean, thankfully, we'll say, you guys did great, rolled great. Stop this thing from eating the Titan, because that would have been fun. But that Avernian Gate stabilizes at a solid like 30 to 40 feet across, and it
Great.
is open.
Full of teeth.  'Teeth? 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 '
frustrating part of this is I know that asshole could totally just close it. Our boss.
I'm just gonna exasperately flop down on the ground and start like, I need plasm, I guess. So I'm just like fully just like eating this guy's arm.
Love it.
Oh, that's right. We can recover it by consuming what's left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like real mad, upset.
Yeah.
The hole is bigger, just angrily chopping into like an arm.
Love it.
And the Centurion frees over the gate, the toothy opening. I don't know if that's going to stop anything or anything. But
he attempts to, and the affects like one side of it, and it does not seem to do anything other than cover the teeth and the edge in sort of a rime coated bit of ice.
Well, the idea is what we do now.
Rest.
Yeah, I would say at this point, unleashed geists start coming back to plot and to plan and to figure out what is going on.
Just offer Louis a handful of plasm.
Here you go, bud.
Here, you eat it. That way I don't have to.
Rolf is rolling something.
I was going to type it out, but now I can just say it out loud.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Stafford Quincy Jones is looking at the aftermath in a state of surprise, disquiet, right? Because he wasn't expecting that would be the consequence. Now he realizes, okay, it's now at the point where I really can't stop Jagged Shards from doing stuff if he wants, right? I have to lean into this. He'll fuck up everything if I say wait, right? So at least he's not attacking his friends, right? That's his perspective. At least his allies aren't being attacked, but the whole area is going to suffer devastation. So he then starts feeling he starts feeling hunger pangs as a consequence of all the expended plasm, and that's not unfamiliar to him, but he realizes what Jagged Shards is now kind of hinting at him next. So then Stafford gives into this ravenous hunger and starts feasting on all the plasm around with abandon.
Yeah.
So his face and clothes.
I like the idea of Adelaide like holding it together a little bit and just like munching on like a ghost arm a little bit. Because it's not a ghost anymore. It's just sort of this like mess of plasm, and so I won't have any sort of what was the
ectophagia? Yeah, we're not eating a live ghost. We're eating its remnants.
Yeah.
As long as no one tells me as long as people tell me they're not just like chowing down on the wolf leftovers, then it's not ectophagia.
How much can we get for?
How much do you want to eat?
Okay.
Stafford fills up.
I would imagine that Stafford is now full up on his.
Yeah, he eats to repletion, right? He eats until he's stuffed and laying back on the ground.
Yeah, I guess that's probably what I'm
his body.
reluctantly doing. Just flopped down on the ground, feet stretched out in front of me, just slumped over, angry. And a little bit defeated because we won, but like not really. I'm just grabbing.
You unequivocally won.
Well, I gotta deal with that. But also, I'm at 4 plasm, so I'm,
One of the core ideas I had for this campaign, as I was planning it and everything like that, was this fight. And if you did bad enough, you were just gonna get swallowed by the gate and have no time to prepare for going in, possibly.
Ooh, shit.
Well, that's true, because we actually don't know what's on the other side of this gate.
You have no idea what's on the other side of this.
That's right.
Correct.
Ooh, baby.
So I guess I set my plasm back at 10.
Sure.
Your synergy is still 1.
And and I need to sleep. I'm not tapped on willpower, but I've only got 2 left. I'm tired.
Yeah, at this point it is approaching night, and you all did things almost all through the previous night.
Mm-hmm.
And you did have a great night's sleep somehow. You felt super rested.
Mm.
Just from a short nap.
Yep.
No idea how that happened, but
So
Literally,
with
a wizard did.
just a moment with Dorothy and just
Yeah.
expressing gratitude to Centurion for helping look after her friends. Whether that was what he was really doing or anything, that's what the take she's taking on it.
at any point have you taken off the mask?
No.
Okay. When he comes back to rejoin you, he
Mhm.
stops short.
Bothers you?
What have you been doing?
Trying things? I'll take it off and I'll try and remove it.
And he, in a kind of almost like animalistic way, like approaches and like, it doesn't actually like sniff you, but there's that sense of like, hold on, gotta make sure you're actually mine. The way like a mother animal will come back and like smell to see if anyone's like touch their young, sort of thing. He just like points his sword at the blood glob.
That's another thing I wanted to touch on too while we're
What
relaxing here.
is that?
I'm not entirely sure. And at this point, she'll include other folks. So,
Yeah.
I fell into where that thing came from, and stuff happened, and I think I created this, and holds up the blood. You see the face reflected in it when you look at it.
Did you take off the
like
mask?
a deer skull.
Took off the mask at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When the Centurion was showing.
It reflects your face.
Oh.
Like a weird baby version of Dorothy's face. Made of blood.
Oh,
Can we hear it talking?
You can hear it talking. You cannot understand what it's saying. Dorothy still can.
Cody's gonna
Yeah,
put his
sure,
hand,
yep.
gonna put his hand on Dorothy's shoulder and say, "Well, you need to feed it, walk it, clean up its
Yeah.
messes."
I think it thinks I'm its mother or something. Apparently, I created it when I was.
Even more, that is absolutely your problem.
You stood over my cradle and fed me. What part of that is not being a mother?
Understood.
Was it a baby version of that thing?
It was. Now it has plasm in it.
Yeah. I
In
don't know what
Dorothy's
I've done.
face.
I don't know what I've done. I expect the Night Commander's going to have a few words for me. Or he'll just find it really amusing and
What do we do with it?
If it
You
is
can't really carry it
yours,
around.
yeah, you might want to hide it from the Night Commander.
oh, that's an interesting. I don't know that that works very well. He seems to know a lot of things that he shouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm just concerned with where are we gonna put it? You can't really walk around with a blood monster.
Yeah, it's not a ghost or Twilight or Plasm. It's something
True.
else, right? Like people
No,
can
it
actually
is.
see
It is solidly here.
It is
Yeah.
solidly here in the real world. There is I think you put together that there is some sort of ritual that you have accidentally completed. That means that when you come up out of that chamber, you enter into the real world.
So this is Blood Deer, because at the time I was wearing the mask and it reflected the mask, but I guess we'll try and keep it under wraps for now. Don't
It
wanna
is your
scare the normies.
decision. I will
Wrap it
support
up in
you.
Cloak or something to hide it.
Well, I've got a satchel and stuff. I can keep it in there. I guess it's probably
what
going
is
to get
Stefan
blood
doing
over
while
it.
this whole conversation's happening?
I'd say it took him a little while to get up from his sated repose. And he's kind of walking the battlefield looking at the physical aftermath of this fully vented rage. Helping him understand that he's also, responsible for that, and thinking on the possible consequences in other contexts. He's realizing that eventually somebody's going to have to die gruesomely in order for him to avoid inadvertently encouraging jagged shards to kill everyone in the area just for the sake of venting the rage. But then he, kind of realizes he's being a little self-indulgent and walks over to rejoin the group, probably comes back in towards the latter half of the conversation about what Dorothy's going to do with Blood Deer, and looks at it and says to everyone, I've been giving some thought to how we might circumvent some of the inconvenient aspects of our employment. And it seems to me that our benefactor is inclined to intervene when things are directly within his interest. But he doesn't intervene in everything. So what I mean is, if this is something you don't want him to see, then just make sure that whatever you're doing with it is not consistent with the things he's told us that he's going to be involved with. So, considering it might not be like a human child, there might be a place you can keep this offspring of yours. You might be able to find a crèche somewhere.
Or he visibly shudders when you say offspring.
About that time,
Mm-hmm.
you just feel a hand kind of pat you on the shoulder. That would be a brilliant idea if I had not just heard it, huh? But I appreciate it.
The thoughts that were in Dorothy's head.
That sort of craftiness is the kind of mind why we're looking for people like you to work for me.
Of course.
So the thoughts were in Dorothy's head that he probably knew this was going to happen and just set us on the road anyway.
I had no idea this was going to happen, Dorothy.
She doesn't even say it. He just knows. Okay.
So, do you know what it is?
That? Yes. Sort of.
You don't sound certain.
It's different. You've done something here.
Clearly.
And he just
we are all aware of these statements.
He makes eye contact with you. Yes, hello. What exactly? And then he takes note of the giant Avernian gate.
We have bigger things to worry about, right?
No, we did not do that.
Okay.
In fact, you did that.
Well,
Just through your inaction.
It happened with
My inaction.
Yes, to be honest, we were here in the midst of a titanic encounter. And
Dorothy just casually stepping out of the line of sight between Stafford and
Stafford's at his
Eating popcorn.
bucket, right? No longer being polite. And he's like, we mentioned to you that Avernian gate caused us concern in those specific terms.
And
we had, well, let me continue, please. And thank you. And we were worried that something would happen with it that we wouldn't be able to deal with. And we suggested that perhaps you might have the skill, means, or knowledge to do so. Well, we did all that we could to prevent it from enlarging in size, yet despite that, it's still bigger, right? And there's a lot of, you see Stafford seeming kind of flustered. He's like, look, we're in over our heads here. We had to engage in a battle with a Reaper, and whatever that titanic creature was born to be. And I would, if I could be frank, I'd only feel better if you start doing more of what you can as our employer and supervisor, and using the skills that you have available to make it so that we're no longer treading water.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Devin
But
gives him,
the skills and resources that I have available, I thought I had made clear, you already have. You are them. The rest of Project Persephone, here alongside you on the battlefield, are my skills and resources. My personal actions are stretched across a larger scale than perhaps you'd be familiar with. And I'm sorry that I could not be personally helpful, personally available here for this incident. It does seem to have been quite a show. But you have all survived. And you have all been pushed well beyond your reasonable limits for a single day. So perhaps we shall retire from the battlefield for the moment and discuss as a team what we might do about this rather large hole in the ground.
let us.
Have I both made myself clear and also shown that I'm not unsympathetic to your point of view?
All right.
Was
Yes.
the question. Yes. Thank you. Now, Dorothy, what in the world have you done to this thing?
I was just trying to get back. I fell into some other place. But it was this mask.
Describe
I
it.
put this mask on. It was a skull.
Oh, really?
I thought I could get a
Yeah.
little... Sure. And so
And he disappears.
he disappeared.
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what you do. I don't care. I'll deal with the consequences. I'm a fucking wizard.
And he crosses back through moments later. I see.
I thought I
Bad.
could use it to get some oracle juice going, and
I'm
it worked,
sure.
but
I'm certain that
other
you
things
found
happened.
out a lot of new information.
oh yes, it was definitely a learning experience. It was so new. I don't even have a context to understand what it is I learned.
For me, that is the Tuesday. Come. And he puts an arm around Stefford's shoulders. And what is meant to be a comforting gesture.
Yeah.
Whether it is received as such, obviously, is up in the air. But it is not meant to be patronizing, right? It is a genuine offer of support, and he does feel bad that you felt abused by being employed by him in such a way.
I think if he is being genuine in that way, right, and you're stating that, Stefford would be able to perceive that,
right,
considering he does have the skill and empathy,
sure.
right? So because he can tell that he was genuinely expressing some understanding, then yeah, he wouldn't bristle or feel belittled by that offer of comfort.
Yeah, so he kind of gets everybody going, and then Mr. Owens, do you still have that bit of whiskey laying around?
Always.
Good.
And notably, Cody is Cody did not chow down. And there was definitely some looks at the three of you for doing that. Cody's gonna go have a moderate, small little funeral and recover the plasm the way he normally does. A little ceremony.
Makes sense.
Excellent. And so with everyone sort of tromping back out of no man's land back towards what is almost certainly an extremely amount of chaos on the front.
No, I bet, yeah.
we will sort of cut that scene, and we'll go on a little bit of a break here.
No break.
Worked out pretty good. YouTube folks, you won't even miss us. Twitch folks, go grab some water or some fresh air or anything like that, and we'll see you back in a few minutes. So we left off with y'all working your way back through No Man's Land. I kind of want to leave it in y'all's hands for a little bit. Scenes that you would like to have, moments of reflection. Knight Commander Sebastian is here for a while. If anyone wants to have a scene with him and pick his brain about anything, we'll kind of let it float for a little bit. I will say there are interesting things that I have plotted down the hole, but we don't have to start that tonight.
All right.
Other than there being a big hell mouth in the ground, there's no imminent threat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna find
nothing is planned. I will tell you, nothing is planned to have come out of there.
Search for the Slayer.
Yeah, exactly.
A team of friends. Plucky teenage associates. I will say that Steffer definitely wants to have a follow-up conversation with our employer now that he knows he's going to be sympathetic to his perspective, so it can be more constructive and it isn't just venting frustration.
Sure.
But that doesn't have to happen first. So I just want to let you know that he does want to do that at some point.
Cool. Did anyone else have any solid ideas?
I wanted to have a chat with Centurion for a bit.
Okay.
If possible.
Yeah. Ash, Drew?
I think Cody definitely wants to talk with, possibly the whole group once the Knight Commander is gone, but then also if that bleeds.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I just kind of want to also talk to my ghost.
Cool.
Basically, I've hit a point when I'm more than just tolerating his existence.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah, let's start with that.
Also want to squeeze in a chat with, if possible, with Ash.
Okay.
If you get time.
With Adelaide? Sure.
Yep, Adelaide.
Sounds good. Yeah, Adelaide starts off with what kind of a scene are you?
Basically back at camp after we have trudged back, just sort of sitting on a cot trying to relax.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of look over my shoulder to Louis and just thanks out there.
I don't know that thanks are necessary.
There wasn't much of anything I could do there. And you helped us a lot.
We are partners. We are equal upholders of our bargain. If I believed there was nothing you could do in this world, I would not have made a bargain with you. Causing violence and being involved in the fray is not the only contribution.
Sometimes it's the needed one, though.
Yes. And for those situations, I'm happy to do what I did today.
And I'm glad to have you. I kind of want to ask him to play cards, but he's not corporeal, I don't think.
Nope. And he definitely would be looking over your shoulder. Yeah, there's this, I'm not trying to make a pun out of it, but Whistling Louie, I imagine to have a lot of like gallows humor, right? Like just a very black sense of humor. piping up about various observations and stuff like that. And so, yeah, there's this bemusement, even at just the bit of like idea he gets from your consideration of it. You know, he sees you like looking over at a pack of cards on the table or something like that.
And yeah, I figure we're just gonna kind of settle into a comfortable silence instead of the uncomfortable one that has been our constant life ever since we basically made the deal.
I think it's silent for a while. It's comfortable. It's not cozy, but it's there's a feeling of acceptance more. Oh my god. I'm not that tired. Why is this happening?
I'm sorry, are we boring you, Chris?
Yes, you are. You didn't jump into the hole.
I hate it. Kill your characters. I want to be entertained.
I know that we alluded to the fact that Reaper looked much the same as I do. But it is more of a concern to me than I let on earlier.
Yeah, I meant to ask if you did recognize him.
I did not, but the horrors of this war that you are in, though they are on a scale men of my time would not have imagined, are not dissimilar to those that I went through in life. And while those memories have drifted from me, I felt recognition and fear just on sight of him.
You should definitely be very careful around those. I was also terrified. I did feel bad sending you at him just because I'm vaguely aware of what these things do. But at the time I didn't feel that I had much of a choice. Like I sent all the others away so they could be safe.
Right. I believe that our bond would be strong enough to keep one such as him from consuming me.
I'd rather not find out.
Yes, perhaps we should not test this theory. If we are to explore what is below that opening, that gaping wound in the world, I shall be glad to be by your side. I think we'll cut it there.
Yeah.
Let's go. It bleeds.
Just to play off of Ash's comment about playing cards, Cody is playing solitaire. And just because he's now got 2 dots of synergy. In my head,
red one. Play the red one.
You have to play. Okay, hang
the
on.
red one.
Yep. Hang on. Playing something down. Just like that's not.
Yep. That's not. Cody knows that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It bleeds is happy to see the King of Diamonds placed on top of the King of Clubs.
Right. And Cody does something he's never bothered to do and just straight up asks It That Bleeds, what killed you?
It comes across in this like very like it is immediately apparent this is not what he's feeling, but how he tries to present it is this like almost machismo, like I don't know, but it must have been something truly horrifying.
Right.
What a guy.
Oh yeah. Cody nods. Okay. So something massive. So, okay. Sure. Like
To have left me in this state.
sure. So like kind of looks over and gored by a wild animal, which Cody at least knows based on the various keys, unlikely. But
I don't think that was the case. I do not think the wild beast would have any supremacy over my violence.
the passion, though,
Hmm?
excitement, that's involved. Makes me feel like something human.
Hmm. Perhaps
Piss off the wrong girl?
you all are quite capable of extreme violence. As the bloodied ground of this country show.
Well, to be fair, this is kind of a unique situation, and not like this is ever going to happen again. But once things settle down,
Fuck off.
Yeah, the Great War, the one.
the one.
We'll surely learn from this.
Wait, hang on. You act like we are different than you.
Are we not?
You used to be human, right?
Am I now? Are you now?
Of course I am. Just had a
What
little
makes you think
bump in
that?
the road. I breathe, I eat, I sleep. I do a lot of the
And do
necessary
humans
things.
often come back from the dead?
no. But apparently some do. Some are
That's
capable
why you
of
are not human. You are something new. We have made you something new.
Cody gets pissed. Love that. I don't know that if you were intending to go pushing some Cody buttons, but yeah, that's spot on. And he's like, "Oh no, hang on. This is a bargain. You didn't do anything to me. We did something together."
That's what I just said. We made something new.
I mean, this is a new thing, but I'm still human. I just different. You think that the Knight Commander isn't human? He's got powers and things, but
He does
He's
not
human.
smell like human.
can't even smell. Don't even try that.
To answer your question, no, I do not. That he is human. Most humans don't see us.
We have mediums here in Project Persephone. You think they're not
and
human?
they work very hard. at being able to communicate with even the most paltry of dead.
And I'm just naturally good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm still human.
If this is what you must believe to continue on, then do so.
Cody sits there like shuffling his hand, playing with the cards a little bit.
Play the red one.
Gonna have to teach you how this game is actually played. As he like puts down another red card.
Mm-hmm. I think we cut there.
Yeah. Cody starts to wonder, am I human?
That was a fun scene. I like that.
Yeah, that was great.
Dorothy?
Adelaide around somewhere?
Vibing on a cat with her ghost.
Yeah. So I got separated from everybody during all the stuff. And I knew you knew where I was because I was in your boneyard, but I couldn't talk to you. But I had an idea of like if I could ping you or something, then you could move, because your awareness isn't everywhere in the boneyard, right? It can move around, but it's not everywhere.
You are aware of everything going on. You
Right,
can
but
move
if I
your
was
senses
speaking-
specifically, yeah. And then like I could go listen to you over there.
So let's just walk a little ways away from like the environs. And can you set up a boneyard? I want to try something.
I'll make you pay for it. You just do
Okay,
one and
I was
we're
looking, just like, man, I finally got one plus.
yeah. You can just set one up one like
Yeah, I'll just
You
have
can
like
have,
a
like,
small one.
to go in the next room, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, just to see if we can do it, I'm gonna try what I was thinking of before and just like use a plasm to sort of like ping the spider web sort of thing to see if she could pick that up or if I could even do it. Those are
Trying to
the I was
see
thinking when I
what
was.
exactly alerts.
Thinking in.
I'm looking at it because I feel like that should work, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I don't know. This is that if I expend plasm, I can learn about you. I don't know. You try it and see.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
I would say for the purposes of this game, at least, I don't know, maybe the rules support this, but for the purpose of this game, you could like essentially flare your supernaturality
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
expending the plasm and like as part of your development as working as a team, you could figure this out.
And make that ping to let her know
Yeah.
to transfer her. Yeah, yeah.
You'd probably call it more like a flare.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah. So yeah, you become, over time, having worked on this, bringing up the idea fully, like, that you become aware of, or more. What's the word I'm looking for? You recognize the ways in which your crewmates sort of jangle around in the boneyard, right?
Yeah, like I will be able to tell that
Right.
beyond just. Well, I mean, you can know of anyone exactly
Right.
who that person is if you pay for the plasma.
Right.
But at this point, I know these guys well enough that I can
Right.
know what their steps look like, basically.
Yeah. So the intent was that we could use that as a way to signal you, ring a bell or something, to say we need your attention here, and then we can converse, and you could pass messages back and forth, that kind of thing, or at least we can pass information to you.
You can pass information to me.
Because if I ping and then you move your
Yeah.
awareness there, I can speak to you then, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
she can't put her mouth out somewhere to talk
Right.
to anybody.
Yeah,
But,
I can't.
And hear what I
Yeah.
have to say.
But here,
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Okay,
I can go
cool.
see what you're doing there. Which is also why I have a team of ghost runners.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, but sometimes that can also take time. So in an emergency, that's a good tool to have.
Quite true.
So make sure we circulate that around with everybody.
That's
Seems
great.
good.
And next time I can let you know if I'm going to do something monumentally foolish.
Yeah, that was scary. Honestly, because you were there and then you weren't. Then the Centurion came charging at us.
I imagine he was pretty upset.
Really wanted to fight the big thing. I think maybe he blamed it because I don't know.
Yeah, he and I need to have a chat too.
Yes. We do.
But yeah, that in the future, if you can at least communicate before you do something like that.
Honestly, I had no idea putting the mask on was going to do that. But I will be more careful in the future.
Key point being, no idea.
Yeah,
Yes, you didn't know what it was going to do.
no idea. Well, it wasn't, and it's beyond what even like Dorothy would imagine that putting on a
Could
mask
do.
could do.
Yeah, because you didn't have any idea of the shadow being a thing
Yeah,
until you
not sure
suddenly
what it
were
is.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like on the way back to the barracks and stuff. Like the Knight Commander gives you a sort of brief description of just like there are ways that you all coexist with ghosts. There are other forms of things. And you sort of stumbled headlong into their hole.
and created something while I was there.
I mean, you gave.
No, don't say
What?
those words.
What?
I thought you were going to say something about maternity.
No, you gave of yourself, and in the space that you were in, completed a ritual of some sort.
Yeah, looking back, I guess that makes sense.
But just like there are conditions to have a ghost be created, such there are ways that these things can be. Now, what you then did was something wild. Because this is not a spirit, as I would call it.
But it is real.
Oh, yes. It is real. And it is troubling.
Congrats, you made an abomination.
Yes. Well, aren't we all abominations?
I'm human. Just had this conversation.
Totally human.
So after that minor flashback, there's just this like foreboding presence over your shoulder, right? Where you were just like, I should have a talk with Centurion, and then he's just like, he's not manifesting enough that like Adelaide can be seen, but there's just this. Yes, correct.
So a few things. You had said before that you wished you'd had one of me. And then today there was an awful lot of ice and snow.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
There to say, it is part of my being.
I'm just trying to understand you a little better, I guess.
In what way, Dorothy?
I feel like the more we know each other, the better we can work together. If we understand how each other thinks and what our boundaries are.
Okay. Here's a boundary. Don't disappear from this earth while I am connected to you.
Okay, fair. In my defense, I had no idea that was going to happen. But point taken, and I will endeavor to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. You did some great work out there, by the way. I feel like I'm the baggage that that commander has to deal with so that he can get you.
I think
Nice.
your commander tries very hard not to think.
You think he tries not to think?
Not to think that way.
Hmm. I just know that my skills are a lot less pointy.
Yes. But were you recruited into this unit, or were you recruited into Project Persephone?
Project Persephone.
Very well. There is a war effort that you all have been made a part of. And I imagine that our adventures and explorations would be quite different in times of peace.
Oh, no doubt.
Which is why I say that your commander, our commander, tries very hard not to think of us as weapons to be wielded on the field.
Hmm. I see what you mean. Is that thing that you did, is there a cost to that? Does it hurt you or drain you?
Bent plasm, much like you do for your bargains.
Don't want to fight. That's something we can do more of.
Sure.
Because to be honest, you're way better at that sort of stuff than I am.
Yes. That would make sense, yes.
I should probably
Sort
let
of-
you
Some
do
sort
more
of
of that.
undying warrior of long lost ages, right?
Yes, I know it makes sense. The point I'm getting at is I should let you do more of that in those situations than trying to drive myself.
We will do and act as we see fit. That is what partners, brothers in arms, whatever you want to call this, should do. With the right soldiers by your side, you can accomplish anything.
And I have a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice and sweet, and he's like, "Yeah, you do."
No, there's like a sadness that like drips in, like sneaks into his voice, right?
Okay.
And I think you get it. You get that it's like unintentional, right? It's something that has been not purposefully expressed.
The camera just goes out, I think, with them just sitting,
Mhm.
looking at the sunset or something.
Yep.
Camera behind them, one sun goes down.
Does Stephen Quincy Jones play chess?
I think he has.
Would you imagine that he's good at it,
Ooh.
or it's like
see.
passable?
I'd say that he's 1 on enigmas, 2 intelligence. I'd say that he knows enough about chess to enjoy his time and to because you know what? I'll say it this way. He considers chess to be a useful exercise for judging the intentions of another person,
Cool.
more so than an opportunity for him to practice a skill and strategy.
Cool.
Yeah. So even if he loses, if
that,
he's able to predict what somebody is intending, he's satisfied with that.
In that, I think you are a good match, emotionality wise, for your current partner, the
Cool.
Knight Commander. But I think you have played several games as the conversation has developed. They've gotten longer each time, right?
Okay, great. Yes.
As you as he maybe dials in some of his or reins in some of his sort of stratagems and things like that. I think at one point he purposely makes a poor move and lets you take a piece, and essentially playing handicapped, right?
Yeah.
But to make it move at a better flow for the conversation, because it can't get much of a conversation done when it's 17 moves to checkmate, and then you got to reset all the pieces, and then
it does make it harder. So if you want it to be a pretense for conversation,
right, it's
better if an individual game lasts longer.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not speed chess, right?
That's right.
So we can kind of pick up mid conversation. You kind of establish what you've already talked about, what you're interested in actually role playing out.
Great. So I'd say that probably at some point as they get back, Steffer would have been walking by himself, but it wasn't truly by himself. He was in a conversation with Jagged Shards. And I imagine what happened was right after that, he communicated in a way that he considered a bit untoward to the Knight Commander. And then Jagged Shards just kind of sat there with maybe sending some vibes of satisfaction, right? You see, right? You have the rage too. It isn't just me, right? You're not just giving in to me, right?
Good shit.
This happens when you stifle yourself. So stop doing it. You thought you were stifling me. The earthquake happened because you were stifling you.
Yes. Good. I'm glad, because this is how I see Jagged Shards too.
Fantastic.
You're just not realizing what you could be.
Yes, exactly. He's like, just give in. It's fine, right? You're different now, right? You're not the same person you were. And you had this rage in you all along. Otherwise, you would not have agreed to this pact with me. So Stefford's realizing the truth in that, and he's coming to terms with the fact that he's an angrier person than he actually acknowledged before. However, he still thinks that it's important to be deliberate and careful about how you express that anger and frustration, especially with someone who can intervene on your behalf in a positive way if you appeal to them appropriately. So he's planning out how he's going to engage the Knight Commander. And so I imagine as they get back, he observed the Knight Commander conversing with Dorothy and Adelaide. And then if the Knight Commander looks like he's going to leave or anything, Stefford will approach him and then, not apologize exactly, but suggest that perhaps he expressed himself in a way that didn't represent all of what he wanted to say. And he asked for an opportunity to chat with him more. And then if the Knight Commander invited him to chess, he'd of course accept.
I think that's... Yeah, everyone gets back and gets settled and stuff like that, and then he invites you over for a glass of good whiskey and some chess.
Excellent. So perhaps the conversation can pick up where Stefford's asking questions about the limits of his time, considering that seemed to be the most meaningful thing about what the Knight Commander said to him, right? That's what he took away, is that, hey, don't get it wrong, right? It's not that I don't care. It's that I can't be everywhere.
Sure.
So Stefford's trying to understand, all right, when can you be places? Is there a way to communicate to you where it would be really helpful if you were here now or in the future or something like that? Can we dial that down a little bit more?
Sure. I find myself revealing more than I had intended with this team originally, but I exist within a network of occultists, you might say.
Shall they remain anonymous?
Fuck off.
This whole iron seal thing.
I have not said it that he is a seer.
I know we're extrapolating.
Haven't said it, but
In fact, if you scroll back in that whatever Discord chat I posted it in, I said, come on, he's definitely not a seer. It's just like a part of the English writing class and, you know, big old time of empire and all that kind of things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I bet he's a libertine. Yes, I find myself, or I am part of a society of occultists. We pursue the truth of the world in many different ways and in many different intensities. I find myself interested and connected to happenings, beings, creatures, humans, such as yourself, that have some connection to the afterlife. Which is why I founded Project Persephone. It's what has gotten us all here today. So when I say that my time is limited, it is because I have fingers in many pies, as it were. But I shall think on, perhaps ask colleagues about a way to
way for us to designate the pies into which we want you to stick your fingers?
Perhaps. Instead of me keeping tabs on you all, a way for you to request, if not assistance, then at the very least my attention.
I would be gratified.
I have some colleagues that are more gifted in the creation of tools such as that. I imagine they could create some sort of telegraph or some sort of object like that to send a message to me across dimensions even.
Incredible.
I will get right on asking that. After this game, of course.
Should also convey that I believe there are many circumstances in which we greatly benefit from your attention, and if not your direct assistance when you cannot provide it. It's also lifting the veil off our ignorance.
How right you are. More right than you'd imagine. You would have made a good colleague of mine.
I will take that with the affirmation you intend. That suggests to me, though, that one of your colleagues cannot persist in a state like me or the others.
I perhaps would frame it the other way around.
Oh, that one of us could not be in your state.
Yes.
Hmm.
The bargain you have made precludes the enlightenment that my colleagues and I have attained.
Ah.
I say this in hope that, well, I say this while hoping that it will not. There's a lot of humming and hawing of him thinking about how to phrase this right.
Mm-hmm.
Your partner, who has brought you back to life, is filling the role that your soul used to.
You see his eyes flare open. And he says, he exhales and he says, "Forgive me for lapsing into a comfortable poetic flourish, but I've often thought of the human soul as the fluid that fills the vessel that is yourself. And therefore, if that is the case, what does that suggest about jagged shards filling the vessel that is me, if he can so easily take the place of the soul that I lost?"
I do not think it was easy. And this is not something that I would... This is not knowledge I would burden you with easily. But I feel in your particular case, some rumination on it. Perhaps some poems. Might lead to a better understanding of yourself in your new form.
I suspect so. Perhaps.
You are not the man you used to be, Stephen Quincy Jones. But I don't feel that that is a bad thing. Nor are you wholly different from him. And, truth be told, the same applies to me.
You mean that you are also changed?
Indeed.
So you would say then that we both experienced an exchange of sorts and gained something as a consequence.
We have succeeded in trials of the like of which belong more in poetry and myth than in modern day, it might be said. But yet, here we are, persisting and experiencing the world in ways new and terrifying and wonderful.
perhaps fate did indeed have a hand in what has become of me.
He just laughs. Sorry, that was very amusing of you. It'd be a long explanation of why, but yes, that is correct.
Well, you've certainly filled my heart and mind with well, I will be crude instead of how I'd ordinarily prefer to communicate this. I feel stuffed to the brim with things I need to digest, much in the same way I was earlier when I feasted on the plasm.
I shall look forward to your thoughts when you are less full of. And he at that point moves you into checkmate and
Yeah, excellent. Cheerio.
gets up to leave.
That's great. That's pretty satisfying for Stefford.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like basically the first time he's shown any hint of like,
Humanity.
what's up? Not humanity, but any hint of like ribald humor or anything like that, right? It's always been like very just like, not always prim and proper, but like very well behaved, right?
Yeah.
Like his jokes are more just like, yes, it's quite.
Yeah.
Polite society.
Yeah, polite society sort of stuff.
It's the first time he's been mildly indecorous.
Yeah.
And for Stefford, he's definitely receiving all of this as a token of respect.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
that makes him feel personally much more
Very
satisfied
much
with
how it
it. Great. So he feels much more comfortable with the arrangement at this point. Like, even if he has to remain ignorant, he understands that this guy isn't just casually dismissing his concerns about that ignorance.
Does Stefford smoke?
He does. And he has I think I had established that he has a jade cigarette holder.
Oh, right,
that he acquired as an affectation in France.
Yeah. When he goes to like roll up a cigarette after that, there's a note in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it just says, forgot to mention, probably don't tell your fellows about the whole soul thing. They might not take it as well as you.
Stefford like nods to himself and burns the note.
Yeah.
Tell Cody, watch what happens.
Yeah. So we've got like 15 minutes of session left.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else y'all want to do?
Yeah, Drew had some, didn't he?
I basically was gonna get the gang together, and especially after the Knight Commander not being here and making it clear that, hey, I've got stuff around, and then now with the conversation that Stefford Quincy Jones had with him, it's like, okay, we need to like 100% cannot rely on him. He may show up, but we can't rely on it, and so we may need to be more proactive and try and study some stuff and think about stuff a little bit more rather than being frontline soldiers. It's kind of his thing. That's the whole conversation. That was it. So that's it. That's a conversation we can actually have, or we can just kind of leave it at that. Especially after Ralph and your conversation, that kind of covers a bunch of it.
I mean, does Stefford pass along the like this idea of a tool to get his attention, sort of thing?
Yeah, what he does is he goes to smoke, right? Because definitely that's a way he enjoys reflecting, right? And he was being honest that he felt like he had fed on knowledge and insight in that conversation. So in the same way that people typically smoke after a really satisfying meal, he's out there wherever like a nice patio is or something like that, and he's smoking. So he notices that note, he burns it, and then once he's come to terms with the things that the Knight Commander shared with him, then he shares with everyone else that, hey, he had a conversation with the Knight Commander. Knight Commander said he's going to try and find a way by which even if he's not able to spend more time with us directly, we can communicate with him so that he can help us understand things better. And then we can make him aware of things that are a good use of his time so that we can devote our time to other things.
Right. And then a question I will pose to the group is, does anyone bring up exploring what's on the other side of the hole?
That like initial night or two, probably not. But if we do not get a direct order, Cody's going to be like, you know, guys, we probably at least need to look what's on the other side of it.
Oh, we can't just leave it there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with it. We might as well know what we're dealing with.
It'd be great if we could just close it, but I don't even know where to begin with that.
No. I guess that would probably be the thing that ticks Cody into, we got to do something. Oh yeah, it'll close on its own, like all the other Avernian gates. It's not closing.
Thankfully, has not gotten bigger.
Good.
Bonus.
Also, it doesn't have a guardian. Yeah.
It does not.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yep.
Weird and bad.
I think that would be the kick in the pants Cody would need to even suggest anything.
Yeah, because like stand out watch. Assume it'll go away. It's not going away. There is no one guarding it. It's full of teeth.
Yeah, I think over 3 or 4 days, like you each end up with a shift amongst the crew of like keeping watch over it, and it's just like, no, it's not doing anything.
Yeah,
but it does not feel right. Like your ghost members of the crew, like closer than like, you know, the first trench closest to it, start like wiggling at the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're.
Oh yeah, is anyone
very
else
much like,
going into it?
Yeah. I mean, there are more for sure. From both sides of the war, right? There are probably a few people have been buried at the new cemetery that was formed, and those folks are doing fine, hanging out, and the other Avernian gate seems to be repaired as well. So there is not just this like entire influx of the dead heading into this giant hole in the ground, but sort of anything that happens like during battles and stuff like that. Certainly, they don't really have much time to like become cognizant of being a ghost before they're just like, whoop.
Concerned about how confident that Reaper was that it had accomplished its goal. Was its goal just to die and then somehow open the gate through death?
Don't know.
Not dead.
I really wish we could have talked to it for a little bit to try to get some idea.
Yeah. Ghost.
One thing I wanted to collect the bits of its mask so that I could try to work out what it was.
Do you think you did that during the event, or did you like go back out there?
It would have been like immediately afterwards as we're cleaning up.
Kind of
like it got shattered, unfortunately. I was gonna try to take it.
It kind of got broken in half with a sword,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like a bunch of pieces. It's
Okay.
yeah, if you go to like try and study it a little bit, it snaps back together.
Oh. Huh.
And it feels dead.
Okay, so it
Not-
doesn't seem
Not deathly dead. And
it doesn't
gross.
seem like it's going to like control a ghost.
Roll me a intelligence plus occult. 3 successes. From the little bits of lore from like brief training seminars that you all got before going out here, plus your experience of seeing this and the fact that after the mask was shattered there was still a ghost left underneath it, albeit it's then immediately broke into pieces and stuff due to other shenanigans, but you don't believe that this thing could just spontaneously control something.
Okay, but
the common sense conclusion you come to is that a mask must be worn.
yeah, my concern though is that this mask can be worn. Like, it still will work if someone puts it on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good to know. It is dangerous.
Minus.
But yeah, I want to try to see if I can learn anything about what it does. Because I know masks have, like, I don't know, vibes to them that they are related to things. I don't know the proper words right now.
Mementos. They're similar to mementos.
I have Memoria. Can I use this? That might be a thing for next week to think about.
Yeah, let me think about that. That is probably a cool way to use Memoria that the rules don't describe, but I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, because if you're holding a piece of a dead person,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Huh.
Not a person, but yes.
Yeah. We'll see.
That's a whole other debate as it goes to person.
Well, is a Geist tier entity a person? Unequivocally, no. Did they used to be a singular person? Yes. Have they been altered beyond the realm of even being mostly human or who they were? No. Very much a different thing. Okay. So yeah, we've kind of plotted some ideas of what we might do next week, and I think we will go ahead and call it here. I hope everyone enjoyed this Titanic kaiju battle, plus some just very good character work in the back half. I thank you to my players here. That was great.
Great time.
All around applause in the claps in the chat for a different. If you want to come and talk about this or any of our other episodes that you have seen, or about the games we are playing, your cute dogs, our cute dogs, anything like that and more, you can come find us on our Discord. That is yeetinto.space. If you have enjoyed our content and wish to contribute some money towards art and upgrades and just a little bit of compensation for our work and production of the show, you can find us on Patreon at staylucky.club. I feel like there's something else.
That's it.
Keep it spooky.
Bye now.
Good night.
Good night.